Jonathan Majors is joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, I know you know him from what's called it, Lovecraft Country.
Yeah.
Lovecraft Country is. Am I getting the name right? I feel like I'm
Yes.
getting it
Look,
wrong
you're
for
right.
some reason. Lovecraft Country. I remember him from. I seen scenes of the last Black Man in San Francisco. I think it was called.
Uh
I
huh.
think that's where I remember. I seen a couple scenes of that movie with him in it, and he was pretty good. But he has now signed a deal with Marvel Cinematic Universe to play maybe the next major villain in the next arc of the MCU, which is Krang the Conqueror. Now, I'm actually surprised to hear about this. I wasn't expecting us to get the big villain this soon in the game. How about you?
No, I was not expecting that, but you know what? If anybody's going to make me like the next villain that Marvel has planned on doing, Jonathan Majors is high on that category.
Oh yeah, he's a fantastic actor. A fantastic actor. If you haven't seen Lovecraft Country, I know the first episode is free. So definitely check that out. Now, if you don't know who,
Look,
oh sorry,
no, I'm just saying, look, man, y'all really, really got to see Lovecraft Country. Also, he played the role of David in The Five Bloods.
okay, okay, I did not know that. I gotta check that out. Now, for those who don't know who Kang the Conqueror is, he was a time traveling villain who had numerous alter egos over the years, and he debuted in 1963 by the iconic duo of Stanley and Jack Kirby. Now, since this is so connected to our next topic, I'm going to just interweave these together. He's supposed to be the villain in Ant-Man 3, which I was
Yes.
actually shocked to hear. I didn't expect such a big villain to appear. I don't want to disrespect Ant Man and call it a small movie, but out of all the Marvel movies, his was the smallest, no pun intended. But his felt like more of an indie type of movie rather than the big scale MCU movies.
Yeah,
And
that's fair.
there's a lot of speculation that this will be setting up the Young Avengers for this next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know how do you feel about that?
Honestly, I don't need Young Avengers right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't because right now, uh, number one, I know it's going to be Ant Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one, and number two, uh, Kang being part of Ant Man 3 is not surprising. If he's a time traveler, I'm not surprised of him being Ant Man 3. But right now, the MCU is so all over the place, which I never thought in my life I would say.
Mm-hmm.
It's so all over the place that I don't even know what the clear direction is.
Right. I think we
And
usually get like that when we don't see that outline. We haven't seen the
no,
movie
I
outline
can't.
yet.
I can't say that because the reason why is when we started the MCU and we finally realized that movies are crossing over. Even if you go back to the Incredible Hulk after Iron Man when they came out the same year, and there's like movies are crossing over. The end game was to get to the Avengers, to build the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Then after the first Avengers movie, you already knew no matter what happens or what's coming, Thanos is the end. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So they build that whole thing up in the beginning. So now since there Thor's going off to do his thing, there's no Cap, there's no Tony, there's basically no Avengers right now. Obviously the pandemic set everything back, so we haven't seen Black Widow, we haven't seen Winter Soldier, Falcon, we haven't seen WandaVision. All this stuff that's supposed to come out this year, we have not seen those yet, and we just lost Chadwick.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean by it's so all over the place. Like they're just naming roles and characters and shows, but I'm like, it'd be different if they said, okay, now the Infinity Saga is done. What we're planning on doing now is going into Secret Wars, or we're planning on doing, you know, uh, Galactus Quest, or whatever the case may be. So then there's an idea of what this next jumble of phases and movies are going to be. Right now, I don't even know where they are or how to begin, other than hearing people landing roles and stuff.
Right. Now, to be fair, we didn't know that game until Iron Man came out that the Avengers was going to be in the works. So I guess
Yeah.
the first movie, which probably be Black Widow with a post credit scene, we'll find out what's going to lead into the next phase. Where are we going? to that point. Now, a lot of people are expecting Young Avengers. I personally would not like that. Now, with Krang the Conqueror having such a big relation to a big Marvel character, this may be an interesting way to try to bring in the Fantastic Four because I believe Mister Fantastic is a descendant of Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah. So I mean, it'll be good for setting them for setting them up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's on the positive side, and I think that there are still too many stories to be told. Like in my opinion, you can't bring in a Young Avengers without even do X-Men or Fantastic Four yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you got to give these people chances to be Avengers
Right.
first. It's kind of like what with a Falcon and even I know we're gonna talk about later She-Hulk and all those.
Mm-hmm.
We have to give time and even Spider-Man to fully become an Avenger without the staple
Right.
there. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, that's why I'm like, don't force a Young Avengers type thing on me. Because first of all, I wasn't even. It all depends. It all depends what kind of Young Avengers they're doing, or if they're going to MCU Young Avengers. Like, well, Cap had a secret son with Peggy. Like, I don't need all that.
Right. Right.
It is. It's like, well, Tony Stark and Pepper, his daughter, and then it's like, okay, well, Thor, him and Jane Foster. I'm like, okay, see, I don't need to force kids in here.
Right.
Young Avengers don't always have to be the kids of the Avengers.
Yeah, I don't think it would
Yes.
technically be kids. It would just be a younger generation because technically Scarlet Witch in the continuity of the MCU is a child still.
Yeah, I agree, and I mean, of course, you got Kate Bishop
Right.
that I know
Right.
they're gonna probably be trying to go for. And then, I mean, you can make an argument for Falcon. I mean, I don't he ain't young, but
Yeah. And
you can
if
make
he's
an
going to
argument
be
for
the new
Falcon.
Captain America, they're probably going to give
Yeah.
him a significant role.
And then if they're doing it like that, and then they take Shuri as Black Panther,
Mm-hmm.
and because she's young, then then fine, maybe I can see where you gonna try to go with this.
Right.
Maybe little homegirl from Captain Marvel is gonna be, you know, Miss Marvel in MCU terms, not in comic book terms.
Right.
You never know.
Right. Yeah. It would definitely be an interest. I'm curious to see where this goes, but I'm really glad that Kang is in here. I know a lot of people were expecting like who is going to really be in the, like people were saying Galactus and Nihilus, but I always liked Kang the Conqueror. To be honest, he was a very manipulative guy.
He was all right. It's just that when Jonathan Mayers plays him,
Yeah.
after seeing all the shit that he's been in this past year, yes, I'm excited. Like I said, Lovecraft Country and The Five Bloods. If y'all really want to see his acting skills, those are the movies and series that you really need to check out.